All right, shalom to the elect men, women, and children of the nation of Yasher Allah that are scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. The nation of Yasher Allah, which consists of the ignorantly so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native and Seminole Indians. We are in fact the biblical Hebrew Israelites, okay, including the Israelites that are scattered in the other countries that look like the other nations, but have the spirit of an Israelite. Shalom unto you. First and foremost, before I begin, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashim Awashai, Bashim Rachakwadash. That's the Heavenly Father, our power. His name is Yahweh, and his son's name is Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. His name is Yahweh Shai, and he is the Savior of the nation of Yasher Allah, and he's on his way back to deliver us of the hopeful elect. Lord willing, Lord willing, us of the hopeful elect are part of the number of the elect. The Lord Yahweh Shai is coming back to deliver his elect, okay, and bring destruction and death upon the wicked. Shalom, salutations, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us his truth and I rule very well. Salutations to you brothers that's out there that's fighting and enduring for your crown and that's following after the example of the the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. And shalom to you sisters. I'm the brother I Woman Atazak, coming back with another video epistle. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 6 verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. All right, so I'm reading this because what we're coming upon, what we're fast approaching, okay, and it's already happening in various places around the world, but it's coming here to America on a major scale, okay. But we're approaching the prophecy of famine, okay, and I'm talking about the famine of bread, okay, and also a thirst of water, because there's going to be droughts as well, and then on top of that, there's going to be a famine of the word. Okay, pursuant to Amos 8 and 11, there's going to be a famine of the word also. Okay, but just want to highlight the fact that there's about to be famines of bread, okay, of water, which they call that droughts. And now you have the, everybody's talking about it pretty much, okay? Everybody's talking about it. So just want to turn your attention to this article here. Here we go. Right, this article here on Reuters.com, okay, and it was pulled up. All right, let's just wait for it to load. So lock here. All right, so this is from Reuters.com, and it says analysis: food price spikes see inflation rear its head in emerging markets. See. So these food prices going up, which is really not the prices of food going up, it's the value of the currency that's going down, okay? Like the American dollar, okay, which affects every other currency, and with this whole Crown Royal pandemic that's going on, it's really affecting the currency around the world, okay, the currencies around the world, especially the U.S. dollar. And you see how here in America they're pumping more and more what they call stimulus, okay? They're pumping more and more stimulus packages, and that's causing the value of the dollar to collapse. And what's happening is them top elite banking families, they're doing this on purpose because their whole goal is to reset the system. So they want the dollar, okay, and every other reserve currency in what they call the currency bread basket. I believe that's what they call it. All right, all those other currencies. I think the ruble is one of them. You know, the yuan is now one of them. And I'm just saying that the main ones, the U.S. dollar, okay. I think the euro is also among that. Which are all pretty much backed by the U.S. dollar, which the U.S. dollar is not backed by real money, which real money is gold and silver, okay, precious metals. But the U.S. dollar is backed by oil, all right, which really holds no value. But all these other currencies are tied into that U.S. dollar. So the U.S. dollar falls, the rest of those other countries, their currency is going to fall as well. At least they back their currency up with real money, as far as gold and silver. So if the U.S. dollar falls, okay, and it causes inflation and hyperinflation to where you need more of that currency, particular currency, to purchase an item, that's going to collapse the system, all right? Which, once again, that's what them elite banking families want to happen anyway, so that they can usher in a new system, which is the digital system, which ties into their New World Order, okay? And we know what comes with their the New World Order, the new digital system, the Great Reset. What comes with that is the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip, okay? Which they've already been pushing, but they're really going to start pushing it here in the near future. And Lord's willing, we pray this is the year that they totally implement it and move on ahead with their New World Order, so that the Lord can come back and give them the great upset. Okay, they're talking about the Great Reset. It's going to be a great upset from Yahweh Shai. Okay, so it says, for Colleen Brito Mercado, like millions of people in developing countries around the world, shopping for staple foods such as rice, beans, oil, or potatoes now means making hard choices. Right, because the prices we're used to paying for these types of items, okay, which are fairly cheap. You go to the store, you can go to Walmart and get rice, beans, for fairly cheap. Okay, oil has went up a lot, like olive oil. Okay, a lot of olive oil is $10 plus. Okay, unless you're getting some crap. Potatoes are fairly cheap, but there's going to come a time when we go to the store, a bag of potatoes, a bag of small little rice, a bag of small little beans is going to cost just as much as that oil is. Okay, the olive oils, the avocado oils, okay, the peanut oils, the almond oils, $10 up. And that's what you call inflation, when it takes more of a certain currency, which it's the paper, that paper currency, okay, which is not backed by anything, to purchase these items, right? It says the shopping cart is getting much smaller, and we're paying much more, said the 41-year-old who works as a maid in Brazil's capital, Brasilia. See, so Jake's going through it, all right? Time of Jacob's trouble really has started, okay? But it hasn't come to America on a full scale yet. But these other Jakes in these other countries, they're feeling the time of Jacob's trouble. It says those countries, Brazil, Venezuela, especially Venezuela, Colombia, so on and so forth. Them Latin America countries, as they call them. It says we've had to give up on little trips visiting family at the weekend, and we haven't been able to save any money for emergencies or to have in the bank. And all this is coming to America, okay? And it's already here, really, all right? It's just not really talked about in the news because they're talking about the Crown Royal, but they're not talking about the effects of the pandemic shutdowns and all that. People are going through it, okay? People are really going through it out here. It says a mix of currency depreciation. See that? So depreciation of the currency, which that's the currency losing its value, which causes inflation and hyperinflation. Rising commodity prices, which ties into that. And the Crown Royal, see, the pandemic disruption saw food inflation soar 14%. Okay, that's a lot. Last year in Latin America's largest economy, the biggest increase in nearly 2 decades. The headline figure masked hikes in staples such as a 76% jump in rice or a doubling of soy oil prices. So prices of things that people used to get for cheap, which gave them a sense of security, now they're starting to jump up. Okay, and in this case, they said 76% jump in rice. Other developing countries from Turkey to Nigeria also recorded double-digit jumps in food inflation. Major wheat and corn exporters such as Russia or Argentina have introduced curbs or taxes to preserve domestic stockpiles, exacerbating pressures elsewhere. And this is going to lead to war, okay? Different countries going to war with each other over um, resources, simple resources such as food and water, okay? And even here in the U.S., or I should say the DS, the divided states, or disunited states of America, okay? There's going to be states fighting against each other, okay, for aid, for resources, so on and so forth. States making pacts with each other against other states just for different commodities such as rice, potatoes, okay, different types of food, water. United Nations data show food prices hit 6-year highs in January after rising for 8 consecutive months. The unwelcome return of food price pressures has put policymakers and investors on high alert, worried what it means for inflation, which is going to soon become hyperinflation, more broadly while economies are still reeling from the Crown Royal crisis or pandemic, okay? Which all of this is going to lead people to beg for what Esau is going to come with, okay? Esau, the top banking families, they're coming with the, and Esau's talking about, because I don't want it to be confused, I'm just saying Esau or the Edomites are just the top banking families. No, Esau, which is the forefather, his name was changed to to Edom, all right? He's the forefather, the progenitor of the Edomites, who today call themselves Caucasians and white. Okay, that's who they are. Okay, the Edomites. All right, but I don't want to get it confused that I'm just talking about the top banking families is Esau, Edom. No, the whole nation of Esau, Edom calls themselves Caucasians. Okay, but expressly talking about the top banking families. Okay, the elites of the nation of Esau. That's all a part of their plans, okay, is to crash the system, all right? And they come with the problem, which is that pandemic that just happened. Then they get the reaction out of the people, all right? They do the shutdown, okay? They get the reaction out of the people. Then they come with the draconian laws, okay, and everything else behind it, which is the solution. And then it gets to a point where these people, they beg for draconian laws. They beg for that help, okay, from them elites, man, okay, to where they're dependent on them. They're worshiping them, okay? And the main thing is that chip, okay? When Esau comes with that chip, people are going to be begging for that chip, just like they're doing with the vaccine. You got all these people lining up to take the vaccine, okay? And you can tell them till you blue in the face that people are dying left and right after taking the vaccine. I'm sorry, Salakia. People are dying left and right. You know, there's many side effects. Tell them what's inside of it. Tell them that concerning Jake, tell them that we're not supposed to put any cuttings in our flesh. All right, so Maxine's out the picture, out the discussion, pretty much. But these people now, they're begging for the Maxine, and you saw that for all the brothers and sisters that checked out the show. You know, I talked about it in previous videos, but the show on Amazon Prime Video, Utopia, where they show you how Esau gets down. Them top Edomites, how they come with that problem, they get the reaction, and then they come with the solution. And the solution, by the time they come out with the solution, the people are begging for the solution. So you got people begging for the vaccine right now, and soon they're gonna Esau's gonna do something, right? The Lord's gonna have Esau do something, because Esau ain't doing anything on his own will. But the Lord's gonna have Esau do something to where that chip becomes the talk of the town. Okay, they push different legislations for the chip to be out there, the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, and people are gonna be begging for it. They're gonna be lining up begging for it. See, and a lot of these things that we're seeing happening with the food, with the inflation, is going to lead right to that. Okay, it says the unwelcome return of food prices has put policymakers and investors on high alert, worried what it means for inflation, More broadly, while economies are still reeling from the Crown Royal crisis, central banks will be watching the level of food prices quite carefully, like they care. All right, these are the ones that's controlling food prices. These are the ones that's controlling the market. Okay, controlling the value of the currencies, controlling if you can go out and get gold and silver, because now they're trying to say you can't get gold and silver now. And hey, the apostle elder Apostle Hart said, hey, get on top of that, getting some, at least some silver. Gold is a lot harder to acquire because it costs more, but at least get some silver. And just to land back on that, because gold and silver right now is kind of hard to get. um, Another great precious metal that most people aren't even considering is copper. Okay, and copper has a lot of health benefits, and uh, just me personally, I believe there's going to be a lot of talk about copper here in the near future. Okay, but copper, um, it's a conductor of electricity, and it's cheap. It's really cheap right now to get. So you never know, with the increase of gold and silver, that copper may shoot up. Okay, may shoot up. But yeah, right now that'll be another good precious metal to get. Not having your faith in that precious metal or in any precious metal or in anything um, other than Yahweh Shema Shai, but just to have it as a defense. But yeah, you see these central banks, okay, or these you see Esau is putting a stop to purchasing different things, all right, because they're prepared to come in with the New World Order, and they don't want anyone to have a defense against that. But it says central banks will be watching the level of food prices quite carefully over the next few months because they will have to make a decision on whether to respond to this or not. Food is the single largest element of inflation baskets in many emerging markets, and there's going to be people out here fighting, killing each other over food, over water, and that's all a part of the prophecies. Rising food prices have contributed to social unrest in the past. Now, with that being said, this is we're going to get 2nd Ezra 15 and 2nd Ezra 16, and then bring it to a close. But the scriptures expressly talk about famines, coming famines, okay, and that's prophecy, which prophecy or prophesy means to say before, okay. So we're fast approaching the prophecy of famines, okay, and people and social unrest because of these famines, and that's the spirit is 441. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, start at 15. And it says, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, meaning it's near. Okay, Habakkuk chapter 2. The prophecies are for appointed time. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. And the modern day swords is the guns. And you see all these Americans, they're buying guns. A lot of them going to use those guns to shoot themselves. Okay, people are depressed. People are depressed at an all-time high. Depression's at an all-time high. Okay, divorce is at an all-time high. Okay, decision is at an all-time high. Okay, hey, that's the 3Ds: depression, divorces, decision, division. Okay, 4D. Okay, let's go 4D. See, so people are going to be out here fighting against each other. And there should be sedition among men. Sedition, going back to the Latin word seditionum, which means a going apart, a separation. That's division. And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right. So they're going to be out here doing whatever they want. It's going to be like it was back in the past, the wild, wild west. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. That's martial law. That's autonomous zones. People blocking off their cities, their communities. Okay, so on and so forth. The states. It's going to be said, oh, you're not hopping on a flight anymore. Okay, or you're not driving through just willy-nilly to another state or to another city or even to another neighborhood. There's going to be martial law checkpoints set up. There's going to be autonomous zones set up. Okay, different people forming factions and groups with guns, just patrolling their area to keep people out. That's how it's going to be in the near future. Okay, and a lot of people are just going to be fighting over just basic necessities, food, water, so on and so forth. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and this is especially talking about America. Okay, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Right, because people are going to be breaking into each other's houses. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. Yep, just killing people, busting into their houses, just killing them. To do what? And spoil their goods. Right, to take pretty much theft. Okay, robbery. Take away all their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. What's the lack of bread? That's famine. Okay, that's famine. A lot of people hear famine, they're like, oh, that's just talking about the farms. 444. That's just talking about the farms. No, famine is if the stores don't have food, or if your own persons, your own household don't have food. That's a famine. Okay. Famine pretty much means to be hungry. You know. Now let's get this. 2 Ezra 16 and is it 32? Child notice up. The point that I want. Okay. Yeah, here we go. 21. I wanted 22, but yeah, here we go. 21. Behold, victuals, all right, provisions, that's the food, shall be so good cheap upon earth. And for a long time, hey, you can, let's go back from 2010 to 2020, the past decade, all right? Well, 2019, okay? People thought themselves to be in a good case because stuff, as far as food, was very cheap. You can go out and you can get all these different deals on food. But now that's not so much now because prices are going up, jobs are going down. Okay, I'll say unemployment is going up, and people don't have the money. So you add all this up, people not having money, people not having jobs, prices going up on all the different commodities, taxes going up. You got them giving you stimulus, but the value of that money is going down, okay? And pretty much people got to choose between getting food and paying their bills, paying their rent. Now, you add all that up, okay? You stir it all up in a soup. What you got coming? Unrest, man. Civil unrest, okay? That's what's coming, civil unrest. And all that's about to boil over right here in what the world calls the United States, which is this United States of America, which the scriptures calls Babylon the Great. Okay, all right, confusion. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils or bad times grow upon the earth. And these evils have definitely grown upon the earth, and it's about to get a whole lot worse out here. Sword, and that the main sword is the missiles. Okay, but people are going to be using them guns before that takes place. Famine, okay, lack of bread, lack of water, and great confusion, okay? And this is the land of great confusion, Babylon the Great. Babylon goes back to the Hebrew word babal, which means confusion. And the Lord calls this place Babylon the Great. So it's definitely going to be great confusion when all these things touch down here on the soils of America, okay? Full force, when the Lord really turns the heat up. Verse 22, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. So there's going to be a lot of people that die of famine, all right? A lack of bread or lack of water breeds diseases, which breeds death, okay? And the other that escape the hunger, because people are going to resort to cannibalism, shall the sword destroy. So those that do escape the hunger, that do escape the famines, guess what? That's going to they're going to die when the Lord causes these nations to shoot these missiles upon Babylon the Great, you know. But I just wanted to say a few words on this article, okay. As you see, Esau is talking about it. There's a lot of these mainstream media outlets that's really talking about coming inflation and coming famines because we're approaching that time, okay. We're approaching that time, that prophecy. But yep, hopefully this was edifying unto the elect. I'm going to say shalom and a Bible ball.